Hey y'all, what's going on? This is your brother Robert Jenkins. And y'all know what time it is too, don't you? It is time to Focus LBK. Yo, man, there's a lot of dope stuff going on in the community. So we're going to start today's show out and do like we usually do, like we always do. It ain't no usually. We always tell you about what's going on around Lubbock. So we're going to start out and do what we normally do. It's quite a few things going on in Lubbock too, as usual. Man, some really interesting stuff coming up too. After we tell you about what's going on in Lubbock, we're going to probably touch on what went on in Lubbock. Our segment called Out and About, we're going to tell you about our latest grand gala experience where we was out and about. And then after that, we're going to get into the facts. Y'all probably know this by now. Joe Biden basically stepped down, said he ain't going to run another term. While telling everybody this whole time he's good, he's straight. We're going to have some thoughts on that later on. And we're going to try to keep it in a positive light because here's the thing, man. All we got is each other. You know what I'm saying? We the ones actually down here living this life. They ain't up here. None of these politicians, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, J.D. Vance, none of these cats ain't down here where you at and where I'm at living this life, is they? I say is they. Are they? We're going to get into that. We're going to ask questions, man. Don't you feel kind of funny now? Talking about the black vote. But hey, let's not get into that. Because the first thing we need to talk about is what's going on. Check this out. The East Lubbock Art House is celebrating 4 years of existence and positive commitment and dedication of themselves and their time and effort to the community. 4 years of that. That's the East Lubbock Art House, Saturday, July 27th from 5 to 8. Lubbock, we have got to stop doing these events on the same days. There's all kind of events going on the same days. I just realized. But anyway, this one right here is Saturday, July 27th. We want to be there. We're going to try to be there. We're going to peep it out. But it's 17 events on that day. Saturday, July 27th from 5 to 8 p.m. 405 MLK Boulevard. Y'all know where it's at right there. Every time I say MLK, I can't help but think of Quirt. 1212 Quirt, Rich's Golden Fried Chicken. Every time they say MLK Boulevard, I think of Quirt because that's what it used to be called. But anyway, we got the National Night Out coming up. That's going to be at the Patterson Branch Library, of course. I'm looking at it here, pulling it up. It's going to be Tuesday, August 6th, 4:30 to 6:30. Tuesday, August 6th, 4:30 to 6:30. Patterson Branch Library. It says, get to know your neighbors and community. Indeed, the National Night Out. Bring your blankets and chairs. Enjoy an evening filled with food, music, community resources, and games. Free, family-friendly night. It's free and it's family-friendly and it's at night. That's the National Night Out. I think that's why they call it that. It got to be at night if they call it the National Night Out. Anyway, Tuesday, August 6th, 4:30 to 6:30. Up at Patterson. Man, that brother Ricky Gaines, he say he wants you to join us for a conversation with Returning Citizens Association. Saturday, July 27th from 4 to 6 at Texas Tech Innovation Hub. If you're not familiar with it, Texas Tech Innovation Hub is over there off, it's a little west of 4th and Frankfurt. So if you heading west on 4th. No, I say 4th and Frankfurt. No, let me take that back. It's a little west of 4th and Indiana, not Frankfurt. Don't go that far west. Get on 4th Street and head west. And when you see Indiana, you got about a quarter mile. And that's where the Innovation Hub at. Anyway, I got all technical on that location because I really want you to come peep it out. And what is it? It's the Returning Citizens Association. Want you to join them for conversation. It's going to be facilitated by Scotty Scott and Lisa Scott, the dynamic duo who be chilling over there with everything you need. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And they say, let's talk. They want to talk health, crime, environmental, and entrepreneurship. Health, crime, environment, and entrepreneurship. For more informations, email them at For more information, email them at RCA at returningscitizensasoc.org. That's RCA at returningscitizensasoc.org. Going to be facilitated by Scotty Scott and Lisa Scott. Coming up Saturday, July 27th. All right. What's going on next? You got the citywide 2024 back to school bash. I was just down at the library the other day, man, down there talking with, what's her name? Her name, Brianna Jaco. I think that's who I was talking with. And anyway, point is, she told me about, and Hannah Stewart over there too. Hannah Stewart is I think she's the director, and I think Brianna Jaco. Am I getting the name right? Anyway, I think she is the assistant director, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the point is, what's up to y'all? Peace, everybody out there. 2024 citywide back to school bash with Texas Tech University is going to be, I said all that to say this, it's going to be on August 3rd from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Lubbock Memorial, Civic Center. The Lubbock Memorial Civic Center. Check it out. What to expect. Everything is free. And the free stuff that you can expect is immunizations, food, vendors, fun, games. Not fun and games, but fun games. That's what they say. School supplies, backpacks, community resources, haircuts, and more. Everything is free, and you can even get a free bus pass from City Bus to go to the event. And you got to be present. Your kid got to be present if they're going to win the free backpack. But everything is free. Come on, Di. And I was down there. That's what I was getting at. That's why I got sidetracked into them names, because the other day I was down there in the basement of Mahon Library, and I met Brianna Jaco and also Hannah Stewart and they team. And they was down, man, when I say, okay, this event is going to be at the Civic Center, right? That tell you how big it's going to be. Well, where they going to get them backpacks from? They stuffing them backpacks. They putting all the stuff in the backpacks right now. And man, I think they said 5,000 backpacks. I was down there. I took pictures of it. You don't believe me. They said if you didn't get no pics, it don't exist. I got pictures of it. They got a hallway full of backpacks on both sides and a whole room filled with even more than that. Anyway, it's going to be packed, but they going to be well stocked. So get down yonder and get you one of them backpacks, but you better make sure you bring your kids if you want them to win a backpack. Everything free. Everything free. All right. Look like the last thing I got to talk about here is the Renaissance Fair. For some reason, I was just thinking of Lord of the Rings. That's why I was laughing. The Renaissance Fair. Some knights and fairies and elves and stuff in the Hub City. Hub City Renaissance Fair, a program of LaHookah. I say LaHookah. Louise Hopkins I know, it's Luca. I like to say LaHookah, though. You know what I'm talking about. Saturday, October 19th, 2024. That's when this thing is going down. This Hub City Ren Fair. Hub City Ren. I'm coming back again. Rolling down Broadway, almost bent my rims. That ain't no diss. Broadway is kind of rough, though. You got to go slow down that mug. Hub City Renaissance Fair program of Luca. Saturday, October 19th, 2024. And I'm going to tell you what, man, my spirit is already reaching out and calling for the fall. This summer is not doing it for me. We didn't get no fall last year, and my body, mind, spirit, soul, and everything else is craving that. But anyway, so that's what's going on. Several events there, a plethora. I keep on saying that. I don't know why. I'm thinking about a song by Madlib, Plethora. Talking about, I think it was Alfred Hitchcock sample. He said a plethora. Some plethora of things going on in the LBK. Next, we're going to talk about what went on in the LBK. So this past weekend, Saturday, July 13th. I'm terrible with dates. On July 13th, man, we went to that Cap Rock Jazz Festival. And I want to say right off the bat, man, this event is amazing. There's another one coming up. If you missed it, there's another one coming up, and I think it's December 14th. December 13th or 14th, it's going to be the Cap Rock, the Jazzy Christmas Festival. So if you missed this Cap Rock Jazz Festival this past weekend, this Saturday, last Saturday, you can catch that Christmas special, that Jazzy Christmas concert. You got to catch that Jazzy Christmas concert. Why? Because they are exquisite. Every time you hear anything in Lubbock about a Jazzy concert with the Roots Crew name on it, go to it. Just go to it, because it's affordable, and you're not going to believe the amount of stuff you get for the money you pay. $75 for a table this time around, or $100 for a table and the concert. So I think, matter of fact, I think I said that backwards. If you want to come for the concert, $75, concert and dinner was $100. 4 hours of activities, including a dancer, including chamber music while you dined. It wasn't hoity-toity neither. See, a lot of people think this thing is hoity-toity, and it is if you want to be that way. But this is how Lubbock is. We come from everything. We come at it from all angles, and we accept you how you come. You know what I'm saying? Some people ain't got no fancy clothes, or some people don't want to wear no fancy clothes, or some people got fancy clothes and don't want to wear them. Some ain't got none and do want to wear them. But the point is, here you are free to come as you are. And literally, I saw some people in athletic attire, and I saw some people looking real spiffy. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them cats that had on a blue sports coat with the gray slacks. Yeah. They done messed around and made me start dressing up a little bit when I can. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I came back home to Lubbock, and it's hot down here. But nonetheless, y'all done brought that out of me. Shoot, I don't know, because you can just be yourself. That's why I like it. You can just, however you dress, whatever is dressy to you, or however you feel. I saw a little bit of everything up in there. Now, I will say some of the less formal people were kids, but still, the point is, world-class food, world-class jazz, Tom Braxton, Roberto Petruccia, and man, what's that young lady's name? Jade, Rebecca Jade. She's from LA. Restruccia is from UK, overseas, and then Tom Braxton is from right here in Lubbock. Anyway, man, 3 stellar players got together. That Rebecca Jade, man, she got a song. I forgot what it is. Enchant me with your love, entice me with your love. Entice me with your love. She say it's Saturday on a Monday. I can't sing like she sang, but what I'm trying to say to you is she was blowing. And that was at right here in Lubbock, Texas, on Indiana, 4th and Indiana, not too far from the Innovation Hub. Matter of fact, not about a little more than a quarter mile from the Innovation Hub, over at that white building, with all that white brick, Texas Tech Museum, right over there, Helen DeWitt Jones Amphitheater, auditorium, whatever. And just dope, man. Now, I will say I didn't get to enjoy the thing the way I want to enjoy the thing. You know why? Because I was serving the people. I was running around slinging these cameras, you know what I'm saying? So I was at work I was working. So it was, you can't really get the full enjoyment of something when you're trying to attend as an attendee, a fan, and then you're also trying to work at the same time. It's not the same. It is definitely not the same. Hopefully we got some good content. Y'all can, matter of fact, if you go over to the article, Cap Rock Jazz Concert, matter of fact, we'll probably put a link to it right here. You can go check it out, man. I made a whole film. It's got pictures and everything. Y'all know how we do. We document everything in West Texas and store it like an ark. That's what we trying to do. So yeah, that was the Cap Rock Jazz Concert put on by the Lubbock Roots Historical Arts Council. Miss Shirley Green, director. A whole board of good folks around her. Anyway, and speaking of that crew, the Roots crew, I guess that's you know what? That's my crew. I was just thinking about it like that. The reason I say that, we have opened our offices up at that building over there that's owned by the Roots crew. So we are now on the Roots cruise ship. That's why they said welcome aboard. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be filming over there, and we wanted to let y'all know, man, our studio is dope. I say our studio is dope. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I feel like our studio is dope. Of course, I designed it and built it and all that stuff. Anyway, but the point is, I think it's pretty cool. And what we're gonna start doing, we're gonna get back to doing interviews where we have guests. We went through some transitions, went through some changes, like them transitions lenses. We changed and with the inflection of the light, had to do some things, move around a little bit. But because we did that, we was able to get our space. And this space, I think, man, y'all look at these pictures right here. I think these pictures look pretty good. So come on out. We're gonna be doing two things, actually. So that's where we're gonna film this show out of, but we're gonna also rent that studio out. If you would like to get a podcast started, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a good deal, I think. You come over and let us do all the production. We get your whole podcast taken care of, and we give you the file, boom. And all you gotta do is upload it to your site wherever you want to go, wherever you want to store it, all you gotta do is show up and do the podcast. You show up and do the podcast, and then we record it, we edit it, we sweeten it up, we design it, we film it, and we put out, and we give you the digital media in your hand. So all you gotta do is upload it and do, little tickety tack on the keyboard and make it happen. So we're gonna be doing that. You can contact us if you have any questions about that. You can text us at 806-642-0949 or shoot us a call or whatever. But anyway, we got that new studio, folks. So actually, I guess what I'm really saying is I'm putting this up out there, and I'm going to put this up in the air, as Snoop Dogg would say. I'm going to put this up in the air that this is our last show from this location. We might, in the future, as time may dictate, we might film from here again. But the next time you see me, we're going to have our new format in place. And speaking of the new format, we try to put out a show on Mondays, which means we end up working all week and working all weekend trying to get the show together. Now, I don't really mind doing that, but I'm going to stop doing that because it say you're supposed to keep the Sabbath holy. And from what my understanding, that we've always celebrated the Sabbath on Sunday. Some people say it's on Saturday or Friday. I don't know when those could be, but trying to do my best to keep the Sabbath holy. And my Sabbath, I think, is Sunday. So that's why we're going to have to stop recording on the weekend, which means we're going to have to stop delivering the show on Monday. So we're going to have to deliver the show. I think we're going to start delivering the show on Wednesday. I think Wednesday is a good time, midweek on Wednesday. Now, we, of course, reserve the right to shoot out a quick message or something like that. But really, we're going to switch the delivery date of the show from Monday to Wednesday. Not this show, but next week from the new studio. So in other words, we're going to come up with a new studio, new intro, similar format, just different surroundings, different set. We're going to get back to doing guests, and we're going to be recording your podcast for you. You can contact us about that. And we're going to be doing all that starting next week from our new studios. And we, man, honestly, I say thank God for blessing us with the ability to have this studio. And Miss Green over there, Miss Shirley Green, she's she's my fourth grade teacher. Seemed like it's gonna be a good little situation. So yeah, y'all stay tuned for that. We real happy and anticipatory. We really highly anticipating filming over there and then getting back to talking with actual people from the community instead of just doing this solo show. Now, I got to go and just get on this Joe Biden stuff, man. So Joe Biden, in case you haven't heard, and if you haven't heard, please inform yourself. But Joe Biden just basically said he's dropping out. He's not going to seek re-election is what he said. So he's dropping out of this current race to not seek election. So here's the thing. If you feel shocked or surprised or disappointed, I would feel disappointed. But if you feel shocked or surprised about any of these recent developments with President Biden, you should be upset because there was a whole half of the country who already knew that he had dementia problems or cognitive abilities, issues with his cognitive abilities. I'm not a doctor, and you don't have to be to know that. You have to be a reasonably intelligent adult with some life experience to know that. When my grandfather, Robert Lee Jenkins Sr., when he got up in age, he started getting to a point where he was a little bit untrustworthy on his own. And when we realized that, we realized, man, we got to take Grandpa's keys, man. Well, thankfully, we never had to take his keys because the good Lord, honestly, I think he just set it up and did his little thing and Grandpa's truck broke down. Now, the funny thing is, Grandpa was a master mechanic, could have fixed anything, but he broke it down right when he was a little too old to mess with it and also didn't have access probably to the equipment. So the point is, his vehicle broke down at a time and point when he, as a master mechanic, couldn't fix it, but we needed it to break down because he was getting dangerous to himself and others. So when I saw my grandpa doing that image registered in my mind. I know what it was like. I know what it looked like and sounded like and the things he was doing, the type of stuff he was doing. So when I see Joe Biden doing those things, and I wrote this on my blog back then at moonmind.com, a previous blog. I still have it. This is just a personal blog now, but I wrote that on there and I said, man, Joe Biden has got some cognitive issues. I said it much differently. I'm not going to repeat how I said it then, but the point I'm making is this is not a surprise to over half the country probably. And if you've been run amok and led astray to the point where you didn't know this was coming, and now you thought you was going to be voting for him in this election coming up and he ain't even going to run again. This stuff was already, you could have figured it out. Most people did figure it out that I read and that I check out because I'm an analyst. I look at both sides of the news and don't believe neither one, too much. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I can't get into why it's all classified and everything. But the point is, there was a whole part of the country that was not surprised about this development. There was a whole part of the country that was writing about this and talking about it as early as 2019, like right before the election. Definitely in 2020, people were talking about it. But I know I mentioned something about it in 2019. Other people I read did. Point is, I would feel upset and disappointed if I didn't know this was going to happen. I would feel if you voted for Joe Biden with all your heart and thought he was going to do a good job, and then you found out that he had a serious issue that was already known about behind the scenes, but they didn't let you know about it, I would feel that, what that's like? I would feel very upset. That's exactly like, imagine if you was going to get a car, you went to a used car salesman and you was trying to, you was dead set on getting this one used car, and a lot of people were saying, "No, man, don't do it," because blah. And the used car salesman, he was no, man, it's great, it's a great car, no, it's perfect, man. We did the Carfax on it, everything's good. He trying to get you to buy it. You go on and take his word for it and buy it, and then before it even gets to the end of the warranty, or before you even get any real good use, before it's supposed to break down, that mug breaks down in a terrible, irreconcilable, unfixable way. And he didn't just told you it was good. Shortly later, it turns out that it wasn't good, and he knew about it. The used car salesman knew about it. If you was in that situation, how would you feel about that used car salesman? I'd be upset. I'd be mad in the mud. I also know that this has happened to me before. I'm talking about politics, not used car salesmen. But this scenario right here has happened to me many times before. And I've seen, they don't tell you the truth, man. They not here to inform you. None of them news folks is. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, none of them cats here to tell you the actual truth so you can make a good life-saving decision or a good, wise decision about something. They ain't here to educate you. They here to compact you into your current belief system. Whatever you are, left or right or whatever, the news media, when you watch them on TV, that's all their job is, man. If you a leftist or you on the left, you a man of the left, woman of the left, Democrat, left, whatever you call yourself, if you on the left, Rachel Maddow and CNN them, that's their job, is to keep you on the left. They do that by excluding information. Not usually outright lying, just not telling you the whole story. This Joe Biden thing is that whole story. Because this side over here been talking about that since 2019. I'm right here looking at both of them like, yo, these cats right here, man. These cats can't see what these cats see. Well, they wouldn't even believe it. If y'all could see what the other side would see, you wouldn't even believe it. That's called conditioning. That's why I got that song, Breaking Not Conditioning. They shaking and they trembling. They can sense the end. Armageddon closing in. The strong ain't supposed to win. The strong ain't supposed to bend. We supposed to win. Y'all know that. I'm finna play that. Y'all know that's the song of the week right there. You know that's what you bumping this week, right? Anyway, that's how I would feel, man. I would be terribly upset. And then there's been I've been seeing a lot of people writing essays and talking about the importance of the black vote. And yeah, the black vote is important, which is particularly why you should be upset. Because your vote is important. If you black and you vote, your vote is important, ain't it? You think so? You feel like it is, right? If it is, then somebody done stole it from you this last election because they knew how Joe Biden was already. Because everybody else knew. Now, if you didn't know, man, might want to reconsider your news sources. What I'm afraid of and worried about, and I'm trying not to worry about it, I'm trying to trust God's will on it, but what I'm worried about is, we are in a supremely weakened condition as a country right now. And there are other countries on the world stage, China and Russia, of course, who are shifting. And because of our weakness, they are coming up. In our weakness, with them coming up, we desperately want to keep our position as the top dog nation, global police and all that, petrodollar, those important things that the United States want to keep. But we see China and Russia are coming up, and we're in such a weakened condition, we can't stop them from coming up. So what I'm afraid of and what I'm worried about is in situations like that, that's when nations start wars. World War III, they already reinstated the draft, not the draft, but what they have done. And I talked about this on a previous show. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but they have already automated registration for the draft. So now you, instead of having to go online and register for the draft, you already registered for the draft. I got a letter where my son was registered for the draft and we hadn't even did it yet. So they automatically putting young men and perhaps even young women on the draft rolls as being eligible to serve in the military. And this is right around a time when these other countries, these near peers, are rising up trying to become peers. And they talking about putting Kamala Harris in. Or Kamala Harris. Well, I don't know how you say her name. I hear it both ways. But honestly, in your heart of hearts, some people see that as a good thing because they think they look at race instead of results. Oh, the first black woman president. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. That's real nice and good. But in your heart of hearts, do you think Kamala Harris is any match for Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping from China, the presidents of China and Russia, respectively? Those men are serious, experienced, hardcore leaders who love their countries and will do whatever it takes to make their country rise up. That's who, and we gonna put in who? Joe Biden, who was known to be cognitively impaired by at least half the country as far back as 2019, perhaps even before, or Kamala Harris, who hated Joe Biden in remember the debates, the Democratic debates. Kamala Harris came after Joe Biden for being a racist. And you certainly could make the case that Joe Biden is a racist. But the black vote is so important that that's who we voted for. I would feel regretful, like a used car person, like that used car analogy. Well, I don't know how y'all feel about that on one way or the other. I know a lot of my readers are probably gonna not be rocking with that. They don't like that analysis right there. Some of my readers gonna like that analysis. But let me ask you this. I mean, what do you really think in your heart of hearts when you by yourself, ain't nobody around, you ain't got to pretend? Do you really think things is good? This is Joe Biden right here. This is his this is the letter he wrote. He wrote a letter and put it on Twitter. It's July 21st. It just says Joseph R. Biden at the top. It doesn't say President Biden. just as Joseph R. Biden at the top, July 21st, 2024. He says, my fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Oh, yeah. You can tell we've made great progress as a nation because all of our leading cities are falling apart and becoming dumps. That's definitely a progress as a nation. Today, America, he says, has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. Talking about Justice Ketanji Brown, who don't know what a woman is. She literally said, what is a woman? And she said, I'm not a biologist. I feel real safe and sound and secure knowing that people who are put in above us to rule us either are so incompetent they don't know what a woman is, or they're so unable to speak the truth because of party restrictions that they have to say they don't know what a woman is. A woman saying she don't know what a woman is. You gotta laugh at that. I bet Vladimir Putin know what a woman is. I bet Xi Jinping know what a woman is. And we supposed to be a Christian nation, I guess. We supposed to be the leading light on the shining city on the hill, and our leading people. I know 50 people here in Lubbock that are more capable than any leading national figure you could talk about. And some of them ain't never held a position in their life. Some of them just have a lot of common sense and a lot of honesty and a lot of gusto. So I feel like they owe me something better than that choice right there. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump, Sleepy Joe Biden, he used to call him. Now they're going to sneak Kamala Harris in. And this is what I'm really waiting to see happen. They not going to sneak Kamala Harris in. She might be in there and finish out Joe Biden's term, or I don't know. She's not going to be the next president. I don't think she's going to be the next president. I think they're going to sneak Hillary Clinton in, or what's that cat from California? I feel like it's going to be shenanigans. That's what I feel like. So we over here in a weakened condition, our country, being led by unserious people on both sides who got us involved in all kind of shenanigans and nonsense. And we have deadly sharks eyeing us and vying for our position, circling around the globe, literally looking at us and taking away they chipping away at our lifeboat and our power supply. There's all kind of stuff going on, man, that if you're aware of what it is, you should be afraid of it, because you live in the country and we are under attack. Immigration is a form of attack. Fentanyl is a form of attack. This is called, some people call it 5th generation warfare. It's not. Countries have always engaged in this kind of warfare. Back in the days, Great Britain narcotized China. Look up the Opium Wars. Was it the Opium Wars? The Opium Wars. Look up the Opium Wars. Great Britain used their power to force China to open their ports and take opium in. And they made money. They made billions of dollars back in those days. Modern day money is probably billions of dollars. Selling China opium, got them all hooked on it, kept China down. That's one of the reasons China hate the West right now, because the way we played them like that. Now they playing us with fentanyl. They playing us with fentanyl right now. Fentanyl coming from China through Mexico. They won't close the borders though. So they got to keep them borders open, because all your illegal power substances flow on open borders. So they need a way to get into the country. You need a way to get clandestine arms into the country. You need a way to get any kind of illicit drugs into the country. You need a way to send money out of the country, not through the banking system. The reason you don't close borders is not because you're compassionate about whoever's coming through those borders. It's because you participate in the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, and you get money off that. You get money. You make money leaving the borders open, and votes and power and all that stuff. It all cycles into the same freaking big old cloud of mess. That's why you see so few people that leave Washington, D.C. You see really few people that leave politics. They leave when they lose, but they don't be wanting to lose. They be wanting to stay. Politics is the art and science of gaining and maintaining power over people. by holding public office, by winning and maintaining public office. It's the whole point, man. Y'all don't feel played. Anybody out there that's voting for Biden or that was on Biden's team and that voted for Biden, you don't feel upset? You don't feel a little bit let down, disappointed? You don't feel like you've been ripped off in some way? How they up until a few days ago, they was like, everything is fine. And then that debate happened. And you don't think it's funny how that debate happened and then everybody saw, first they wouldn't let him debate. That's why they didn't let him campaign in 2019. Because like I'm telling you, the whole thing was already known back then. So they didn't let him campaign because you would have saw it and wouldn't have voted for him. COVID, so 2020 and all that, COVID keeps everybody at home. Oh my God, they use things to their advantage or they make things happen sometimes. All to gain and maintain power over you and me too by holding public office. That's politics. And I don't want to play politics at all because I'm really more concerned about the truth, justice. I'm afraid of God. I feel like everything I do fails and it's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about that. I got 2 kids I'm trying to get pushed off into this world. Joe Biden in his letter said we got the strongest economy ever, basically. Ask these millennials that's in their 20s that can't get their own house. They still live with their parents because the economy is so weak. They can't establish themselves. The birth rate is falling. That's why I say we under attack. That's an attack right there. Having less kids, promoting abortion and promoting Planned Parenthood and all that morning after. All that stuff, that's just an attack. It's a form of attack on our society. Every society needs to be able to project itself into the future. In order to do that, you got to have kids. If your people ain't having kids, your country can't live. It can't project itself into the future. And if it does project itself in the future, they bring in immigrant populations. They bring in people from other places and replace you with them. When your country goes forward at that point, it's not going to be how you left it. It's not going to be the way you built it and go forward. It's going to be the way they building it, and it's going to go forward in a different way. In other words, they're going to cut your culture off. You don't see how that's a form of attack? If you want a country to stop existing, to be weakened, you don't think somebody would give that population fentanyl or crack like the CIA did? Y'all ought to read the book called it's by Gary Webb. What is it called? Dark Conspiracy, oh man, I forget the name of it, but look it up. It's by Gary Webb. Talks all about how the CIA was using crack and illicit arms sales to do dirty stuff all around the world and basically just put the whole thing off on the black community. Destroyed. That's where the crack epidemic allegedly came from. To me, it looked like it did. The cat that wrote this book, Dark Alliance, I think it's called, Gary Webb. He was a reporter for the San Jose Mercury News. When at first they tried to say he was crazy and discredit him and stuff. Then finally, when he told too many, came out with this book and getting too much traction with it, he killed himself by shooting himself twice in the head. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about, that kind of shenanigans. After this election, man, I feel like they're going to bring Hillary Clinton back. They're going to Gavin Newsom. But you didn't vote for none of that, though. The stuff you voted for turned out to have been fraudulent. Everything you vote for turns out to be fraudulent because these people, neither side don't serve their constituency. Neither side don't really be concerned about us. No, they could care less about you or me, except for to keep them in power by voting so that they can maintain power over us by holding public office, which again is the very definition of politics. I'm not interested in politics, really. I'm not trying to play politics. I want my family to prosper and be extended into the future with the same ease and ability that I had to do it, but it's not there anymore. It's getting harder. Joe Biden in his letter talking about how good the economy was. That sounds like a good economy to you? Don't sound like one to me. We don't have a terrible economy, but it is terrible in some ways. Inflation is, they try to tell you inflation is low. Inflation, I bet you, is double digits. Anybody that actually lives in the real world and grocery shops and does things and moves around and buys things, no, inflation ain't in no single digits. But you ain't supposed to believe what you can see, think, and feel and measure by your experience. You're supposed to deny your intelligence and your experience and just believe what they tell you. They said it's low, single digits. So you're supposed to believe that. Right? I mean, you believe that, right? You gonna let them make who you gonna believe, them or your lying eyes? Yeah. Anyway, man, I just don't feel 2020. Have y'all ever heard of a fourth turning? A fourth turning is I don't want to get too deep into it, but there are generations. There's 4 generations in every human life cycle. It's called a seculum. It's an 80-year period. This consists of 4 generations of humans. And at the end of those 4 generations, that 4th generation is called a fourth turning. And it's a period of tumultuous upheaval, civil wars and stuff like that. We're in a fourth turning. According to the book, The Fourth Turning by Strauss and Howe, I think them cat's name was, we're in a fourth turning. So everything right now is supposed to be chaotic and get crazy, and it's going to lead up to a huge fallout, meaning a big civil war, a big world war, or both, or some kind of huge. And we over here fighting with each other. I'm trying to get on camera. I'm a crooked here. We over here fighting. We at each other's throat, while the people above us know that these are the real stakes. I feel afraid for my country. I feel afraid for my family, my people. Now it's not the time for politics, man. It is the time for truth and reconciliation, honestly. That ain't going to happen. There's too many people out there make too much money off of politics, which is, again, the purpose of politics. They stir up all that strife so they can keep you mad and keep you compacted in your camp, right or left, or red or blue. You ever wonder why it's only 2 parties in this country? Come on now. They'll never why don't they ever let a third party candidate rise up? RFK Jr., for example. He's awesome on vaccines and the health freedom and stuff like that. Everything else I've heard him talk about, he crazy. He sound crazy. He can't be, but he's a Kennedy. Has that name recognition, and he has a pretty good following. He's not good, but he's not terrible. You know what I'm saying? So the point is, he should be up there on this debate stage. You should have seen Biden, Trump, and him debate, but you didn't, did you? Have you even ever heard of him? Did you know he was even running? Did you know they wouldn't give him Secret Service protection? Joseph R. Biden administration wouldn't give RFK Secret Service protection, knowing that his daddy and his uncle got their heads blew off, and Trump just got his head attempted to be blown off. But now they give him Secret Service protection, but he was begging for Secret Service protection. Robert F. Kennedy, RFK Jr., was begging for Secret Service protection from the Biden administration, wouldn't do it. That's the kind of people you cool with. Any of that kind of shenanigans, you cool with that? I ain't cool with that. We can't do no better than that. Neither side of us can't do no better than that. Folks, please don't let them divide and conquer. Let them fail by simply maintaining your humanity, opening your eyes and ears and your mind, trying to see what's really going on, and not just falling into these 1 or 2 camps at each other's throat. Because that old story about it's that old story about the man, the mouse catcher. It was a rat catcher. It was old man whose job was a rat catcher, and he was walking down the street catching rats and putting them in a bag. And as a little boy saw him doing it, he put a rat in the bag, and every now and then he'd hit that bag full of rats with it. He had a stick, he hit it. He walked down and he found another rat, picked that rat up and put it in the bag. And after a while, he hit the bag. So the little boy finally asked him, he said, excuse me, mister, I see you catching these mice and stuff, and every now and then you hit that bag. Why do you hit the bag with the stick every now and then? And the rat catcher said, well, son, if these rats ever realize that they in this bag and what I'm going to do with them, they'll eat their way out this bag. But if I hit that bag every now and then, it makes them mad. They think that some other rat did it to them, and they'll fight amongst each other. So in other words, I hit this bag to keep them rats fighting each other instead of eating their way out the bag to freedom. That's where we at, I feel like. We both some blue and red rats in a bag, and somebody hitting that bag, and we think it's each other, so we at each other's throat, but we never think to figure out that, wait a minute, who is actually hitting this bag and why do I keep having to fight this guy right here? He's not hitting the bag. In fact, we both in the bag, getting hit. Who is hitting it? We'll never look at that. But that's a good thought to leave y'all with, LBK. Thank y'all for tuning in to episode 46 of the Focus LBK Show. This is your brother, Robert Jenkins, coming to you live and direct and hoping that you have a good week. And let's start having a little discernment if we can and not jumping at the first opportunity to fight each other, but also thinking about serious questions like, if there's a bunch of tumultuous stuff coming in the times ahead, where do you need to be and what do you need to be doing? Getting out of debt, getting some food on hand, some supplies, boogie bag, all that good stuff. That's what you need to be doing. That's what I feel like you need to be doing. I tell you what, that's what I'm doing. You do what you want to do. It's a free country. And that's why I love it. That's why I also love the beautiful city of Lubbock, Texas, USA. And anyway, I'm about to jet. Y'all have a good week, and I'm going to say peace.